Hello viewers, this Not Too Fast here. In today's video, I'll be troubleshooting a speaker problem on this 2016 Hyundai Elantra. Recently I noticed there's a buzzing sound coming from the driver's side back door. Now with this Hyundai Elantra, unlike most vehicles, the 4 speakers in this vehicle are placed in the door. So there's a speaker in each door. I suspect the speaker in the rear driver's door is blown. I'll show you how I go about troubleshooting this. So let's get started. To show you what the buzzing sound sounds like, I'll play a music track, and to help isolate which speaker is causing the problem, I'll use the radio's audio setting and fade the audio to the back, and then adjust the balance between the left side and the right side so you can hear the difference between the good speaker and the bad speaker. Now right now, the sound is coming from all 4 speakers. Now adjust the setting to fade to the back. Right now you're hearing from the back speakers. Now set the balance to the right side. It sounds okay. Now set the balance to the left speaker. I can definitely hear the buzzing sound. Let me take the camera to the back and I'll show you the difference. This is a passenger side rear speaker. There's a rear driver side speaker. So the next thing I need to do is get access to that speaker, and to do that I need to remove the door panel on the driver's side back door. Now this is the first time I'm taking the door panel off this vehicle, but the procedure is pretty much the same for most doors. Usually there's a screw or bolt behind this grab handle, and also a screw or bolt behind this handle here. Lift up this cover. And there's the screw. Remove the screw. Remove this cover. Now using your finger, go around the door panel and pull the panel off. I went ahead and lowered the window. Now I need to remove this trim piece right here. Now carefully lift this panel up. Next I'll disconnect this connector here. Here's a look at the speaker. It's held in by 4 Torx screws. I'm going to disconnect the connector, go into the speaker. Now I can remove the speaker. Here it is. Let me show you one more thing. If you want to remove the door panel completely, there are these 2 cables that's attached to the door panel. To release these cables, what you want to do is pull back on this white latch, and the 2 cables will come off. While I have the speaker out, we can do a couple of tests to see if everything's okay. If I flip the speaker to the back, you'll see on the back magnet, it tells you this speaker is rated at 4 ohm. So what I'll do is take a multimeter, set it to the impedance reading, and I'll measure the impedance of the speaker coil. As you can see, it's measuring 4.5 ohm. So the coil is good. If you cannot measure resistance on the coil, then most likely the coil is burnt. But in that case, you won't hear any sound at all. Now with this speaker, if I carefully place my finger on both sides of the cone, and I push this up and down, you hear that sound? The coil is actually rubbing against the magnet. And also if you look at the cone itself, it's distorted. So what happened is probably a lot of water got on the speaker cone, and since the speaker is very cheap, made of paper, the water damaged the cone and warped it. And if this shape is distorted, what happened is the coil will not be sitting straight, as rubbing against the magnet. Also, you can check the rubbers around and make sure it's not torn and have any holes in it. If you see that, this will also cause a distorted sound. But as you can see on this speaker, this rubber surround is in good shape. So the next step is for me to find a replacement speaker that will fit this vehicle.
1 hour later.
So I went on eBay to check the price of this specific speaker, used and new, and I was shocked at seeing how much people were selling these for. Now keep in mind this is a crappy paper cone full range speaker with a tiny little magnet and has a nominal power rating of 20 watt. At first I'm thinking I can pick up a used one for maybe 10-15 bucks, but a good used one is going for $40 to $50, and that's for one speaker. If you want brand new, it'll cost about $80 to $90. I know I can get a pair of mediocre speakers at Walmart for about 30 bucks. So I'm definitely not going to pay $40 to $50 for a used paper cone speaker. And then I remember I have a pair of old Pioneer 6.5 inch speaker. And here it is. This is a 3-way coaxial speaker. It handles 180 watt max and 60 watt nominal. These speakers are actually made in Japan, and I previously had them installed in my old car. Before selling the car, I took these out. Here's a look at the back. As you can see, it has a huge magnet. Here's a side-by-side look of the Hyundai speaker and the Pioneer speaker. Now if you look on the side, you'll notice the Hyundai speaker has this ring that's raised, whereas the Pioneer speaker obviously doesn't have this. So if I was to install the speaker directly into the door, the magnet would sit too far back into the door. So to properly install the speaker, I picked up a set of Metra speaker rings. Here it is. This one here is part number 82-7303. I'll open this up and I'll show you what it looks like. And with this speaker ring, we'll raise the speaker like the factory one. So with this installed in the door, I can place a Pioneer speaker right here. And by the way, I paid 16 bucks for these speaker rings. Now if you look at the original speaker, there are 2 plastic pegs at the top, and these pegs will go into the holes that you see right here. So it's installed like this. Looking at the aftermarket speaker ring, it also has these 2 posts, and when you install it, it'll line up perfectly. So I can install the 4 factory screws. And also if you look at the top, there's a cutout here where you can feed the speaker wire. As you can see, the original factory speaker wiring harness has its own connector. I will not be using this connector. So what I'll do is make a short pigtail wire to go from the Pioneer speaker to these 2 wires. So here I have a short wire. I'll crimp spade connectors at the end. Connect this end to the Pioneer speaker. Now I'll feed this wire through the hole at the top. Now I can install the screws to mount the speaker. Now I should mention they do sell an aftermarket speaker connector that you can use to connect to the aftermarket speaker. But for me, I'm trying to keep the cost down, so what I'll do is tap these 2 wires onto the factory wire. Now there are a couple of ways you can make this connection. One is to use T-tap to tap this wire onto this wire. What you want to do is put this tap onto the wire, close it up, and use pliers and squeeze it, and then crimp this connector onto this wire, and then you plug this into the tap. But instead of using the T-taps, I'm actually going to solder this wire onto this wire. Now tape up the connection. Now before you put the door panel back on, you should turn on the radio and test it out, make sure it works. I set the balance and fade for the sound to come out on this speaker only. Let's have a listen. So with this speaker installed, I no longer have the buzzing and distorted sound. So this speaker replacement fixed the problem. I'll go ahead and put the door panel back on. Now by changing it with a different speaker, I will also have to replace the back passenger speaker. And you want the left and right speakers to match so the frequency response are the same. Otherwise, you might have one side that sounds louder or brighter than the other side. Now repeat the same procedure on the passenger side rear door. And this door is done. Since I now have both speakers out, there's a good time for me to show you the difference between the good speaker and the bad speaker. Now remember, the speaker that was giving me the problem was the one on the driver's side, and there's a speaker right here. And on the right side, there's a good speaker I took out. And in the beginning of the video, I showed you how this speaker had a scraping sound when I press on a cone. So now let me show you the difference between these two speakers. You can hear that scraping sound? Here's the other speaker. It's quiet. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I thought I'd take you along this troubleshooting I did on the car radio. I'm actually glad the problem is the speaker itself and not the amplifier and the radio. Because if it was a radio that's having a problem, the repair is going to be a lot more expensive. I also hope by showing you the mechanics of how a speaker works, it might help you with your troubleshooting in the future. And if you happen to be doing the same repair and you need some of the parts and tools used in this video, check out the links below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. To support this channel, remember to click on thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified of new videos.